Hi, everyone. Well, welcome back if you've been here before, and if you're new, then welcome. Um, yeah, where should we start? So, obviously, I've been trying to start this YouTube channel, and lots of learning experiences here, and learning a lot. And my early videos were pretty terrible, and I'm hopefully at a point where they're just terrible. But but yeah, I wanted to get together and just kind of get my thoughts out there on paper and just try to figure out where I want to go with this. Um, yeah, I wanted to talk about this idea of what does a comeback look like when you're in the middle of it, because we have this idea of a comeback, this romantic idea of a comeback with this really clear story arc of the main character where they're trying to come back from something, right? And I don't know, I don't know if that happens. I can definitely speak from my experience that that was not the way it happened. That is not the way it feels, and it kind of takes a long time to come back if if you ever come back, I guess. Um, but I'm just trying to speak from my own experience. I feel that we're all experts at our own experience because we're the only ones that go through it. But yeah, so what does a comeback look like, right? And I guess another question is like if you find yourself at a rock bottom, you have to ask yourself, do I even have an interest in coming back, right? So I started this channel to I'm not really sure. I mean, I knew this was the general idea, but it took me a while to to really get to the heart of what I wanted to make content around. But I've made a few videos. They're, like I said, learning experiences. A lot of frustration and disappointment in these videos, but I feel like they had good lessons, right? So coming back to this idea of like what does a comeback look like, right? I I wanted to examine this because in my own experience, I and I'm still coming back, but I went through a job loss. I lost a six-figure job and went to doing food delivery, Uber Eats, and DoorDash to get by during that time, and then eventually found my way back to another six-figure job. I The last 5 years, I lost my marriage and was working through the struggles of separation and divorce, and that is now finally coming to a close. Where I'm very fortunate to have a good co-parenting relationship with my soon-to-be ex. Um, Parenting struggles as a single parent, getting through that is kind of another layer. I mean, it's so rewarding, but it still is a lot of work. It's worth it, but it is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of learning curves. So there's that layer. Um, Fitness, health. I think I'm probably in the best physical shape I've ever been, which people that have found themselves at that point in their life where they find themselves in the most peak physical shape, whether it's purely athletic or it's athletic with just life choices in terms of food. Um, and I'll touch upon this, like maybe removing alcohol from your life, but just eating healthier. But I find myself in the highest physical health that I, especially like considering I'm 5 years older, I feel like I'm actually in better physical shape than I was 5 years ago. I mean, alone, if you alone account for just removing alcohol, that probably does a ton, right? So that's the next one. It's like I removed alcohol from my life, and I'm not saying it like for any like if people who still drink, that's fine. I don't judge. I'm not trying to impose this on anybody else, but I personally found I had my own personal struggles with alcohol, not in any crazy way, not like UIs or major blowups, but just I see clearly now the negative impact, the kind of insidious impact that it had on my life, on my just the way I was operating. I was a daily drinker in moderation, but I think I was numb. I was numbing out. Um, Probably like due to other forces in my life. It was probably like in response to those. But since then, I have removed alcohol from my life, and for the most part, I don't know if I will drink it again. I still drink it from time to time if it's like a celebration, but I have not drank any alcohol probably for the last 8 months or so. But for the most part, I probably have only had like 2 drinks in the last 2 years. But it was for me, it was a process where I just slowly stopped drinking as much. It was hard in the beginning, and then it just got easier, and then just had a couple times where it wasn't really like a full blown relapse, but I had a couple drinks one night, and then the next day I was just like, why did I do that? And then it was just this kind of process of doing it again, having 2 drinks, and either at that time feeling not feeling great or not feeling great the next day, or just feeling like maybe I let myself down. That was enough of a negative feeling that eventually it came to the time where I said, I had that night where I felt like having a drink, and I said, let's try it if we don't have that drink, right? And then eventually it became, uh, yeah, it just became like, let's do this instead, and then I wouldn't drink. And getting comfortable, this could be a longer video, but getting comfortable with just if you have a rough day, just I kind of just would sit on the couch right here and just sit in it. Just sit in the discomfort, the pain, fear or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't always that easy. It was like in the beginning I was using it to cope. I was using it to cope with anxiety, fear, stress, everything. Um yeah, this is turning to be a longer video. I just wanted to give a 10,000 foot view of where I want to take this channel. This is kind of like a kind of after making some videos, I kind of see like how hard it is, and I kind of just got more clarity on maybe what I wanted to do. And when I really started, it was like I was trying to be perfect at every video on everything, and that makes it so hard. Um, so anyway, so yeah, the next one is um, is dealing with just questionable financial decisions. I think definitely made mistakes. Um, my challenges in terms of finances of just like, I mean, obviously when you lose a job and when you're going through a divorce, you're gonna have money stresses. That is just, I mean, if you can do those things and not have any stresses about money, tell me, I wanna know how you did it. But, obviously, those are pretty strong catalysts for causing financial disruption, and, yeah, I went through it, and I lost a lot of money, and it was very painful, but on the other side of things, I learned a lot about myself, and I when you're pushed to some limits, you kind of learn how resourceful you really are, how creative you are, and how resilient you are. So, yeah, I'm just now getting out of that and finding myself thriving again financially. But I still, and this is another idea for content, a video or a few videos down the line is just like dealing with the residue of financial trauma. It's very real. How I just never realized that it was a thing. Like if you told me the term financial trauma, I would say, yeah, that sounds like a legit textbook term, but I still have fears that are irrational. Like I still have trouble checking my mail. I have trouble checking my email. I have trouble logging into my bank account. Like I m- have heart palpitations or whatever. My heart starts to race. I start to sweat when I have to do those things that most people consider mundane. And just kind of waking up in the morning, I still have fears around that take me back to when I lost my job or yeah, just that time of my life. But I am finally emerging from those depths after a 5-year kind of journey. And everything isn't perfect, but the trajectory is pointed somewhere great, right? And I'm no longer in the depths of that my personal rock bottom where I just didn't know what I was gonna do, right? And last, actually not last, I forgot another one, but yeah, I wanted to talk about I be I how do I yeah, I wanted to talk about, during this last 5 years, I got into trading, like trading the market. Um, and it was a lot of hard work, and I'm finally seeing the fruits of that labor. I mean, I've made a lot of pain, and I finally became a funded trader. If you don't know what that means, it means that you take on a challenge. There are these challenges you take. You have to perform you have to reach certain goals. You have to take a certain amount of money and turn it into a certain amount of money. And if you pass, it you get money to trade with. You get capital to trade with. You also, if you do it, if you do it a certain way, with patience, with a strategy, with an edge, you walk away with a strategy that works in the real markets with real money. So I spent the last 3 years developing an edge, and it's profitable. And this is sort of my kind of side hustle in addition to my day job. Um, I also do other things, like I'm a landlord, I have rental property. But yeah, I'll get more into that later on. Um, Kind of just trying to get subject, these different topics out to share them to see if maybe they resonate with you who are watching. And then last is that kind of to close with, as I'm coming to the end, to the closure of my divorce, which just it's just dragged on for 4 to 5 years. So obviously I've been living, um I have a daughter. My daughter and I have been living separate from her mother, but yeah, I've been going through a divorce, which is not fun. But obviously divorce is the end of a relationship. And for the longest time, I that part of me, the relationship part of me was kind of dead, right? I was just a dad, and dating seemed like I didn't know where I didn't I that was that kind of part of my life was kind of shut off. I think early on I kind of explored it and could just tell I was not ready. I just certain behaviors of mine, I knew I wasn't ready. It was like I was not a person that should be dating. Just I cringe at how bad things could have went based on how I was um, at the time. But yeah, but now today I find myself. I find myself a different man, and I feel like I went monk mode for 5 years, and I'm now showing back up, hitting the dating scene, which is crazy. I think a lot of people could say pretty crazy out there, but um, having some success with that, which seems um, kind of a surprise. So I thought I could share. That's another topic I thought I could share. It's just my experience. My experience and the mistakes I'll be making. No, but hopefully it should be. I'm trying to take a really grounded approach, so hopefully I don't make those mistakes or minimize. But yeah, I this turned out to be a longer video than I was expecting, but I just wanted to share where I kind of want to take this. Right, losing a job, losing a well-paying job, going to working minimum wage and clawing back out of that and finding myself back at a well-paying job, but with kind of like a new sense of, what can, like, you're at the mercy of um this type of employment, right? That was the real takeaway. So yeah, losing the job and getting one again, going through divorce, single parenting, finding a way to um, in midlife, finding a way to find your peak physical shape, um, exploring other avenues of income. For me, it was trading, and I'm still I'm still just a novice, but it has I've found it has real potential, and it's not. I want to be clear, it's not gambling. The kind of trading I do is not gambling. It's not putting money on black and hoping it goes up. It's boring. It's um it's boring, it's disciplined, it's based on an edge. You're basically the casino where you have an edge and you execute on that edge consistently and you let that edge pay you over time. So that's that's how that works. I'll go more into that. It sounds like it's gambling, but it's not. But yeah, quitting alcohol and try to just get through these residual habits of financial trauma. I struggle with them, and or I'd like to share with other people who have gone through or are going through financial trauma. But specifically, I can speak to what happens after. What happens after you've had a major financial loss, or you lost a job, or a loss of a source of income, um, and what happens after, even after you've come back. It's not like it's everything just is all fixed and you're fine. There's emotional residue from that, and it's very real. I mean, it's very real, and the craziest thing is it keeps you trapped in a space. It keeps you trapped in a way of thinking that continues, um, that keeps you in the hole, I guess. That's a way to put it. And I finally understand what scarcity thinking is. I've heard that term. It's kind of a buzz term, and I thought I knew what that meant. But going through financial trauma and now finding myself outside, I've clawed my way out of that hole. There's still things, there's still past trauma that dictates the way I behave, the way I behave around money. And I'll elaborate that on in future videos. But it's a way of thinking that keeps you trapped there longer. And if you can recognize it, this is based on my experience. If you can recognize it and you could go against the discomfort, go into the discomfort, that's actually the best thing you can do. But it doesn't feel like it. Anyway, so yeah, um, I'll come back with some new content on kind of these topics. But I really wanted to use this video as a fresh starting point. Like I've made, it's not my first video, but if you'll see my other videos, it's like I don't even know where I'm trying to go with it. It's kind of all over the place. But I'll still put that older content that I've kind of filmed and created, and you can let me know what you think about it. But I really wanted to make this one to kind of gather my thoughts on the in front of the camera, and share where I want to take this channel. Those are all the topics that I want to cover, and as I go, you can share with me what you want me to focus more on, right? And this is kind of day one of sharing where I am at financially, where I'm at in my daily life, parenting, dating, uh, trading, is in terms of um, nurturing this side hustle that I hope to become, to essentially replace my my main income. Oh, and then yeah, and then being a landlord and um, dealing with that kind of real estate. But anyway, my name is Nick. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching this, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Every day, I'm just trying to learn. I'm just want to be able to share those things that I've learned with somebody interested in watching. So if that sounds like something you'd want to see more of, hit the subscribe, leave a comment, um, yeah, or just be on the lookout for my next video. Once again, I'm really happy you're here, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.